Right. So for the past 2 months, I've been trying to make one video. Not this video, but a video. It's the video that I would use to kick off my songwriting series, which is where I would take a song idea that I recorded and produce it to a fully completed written song. And the idea is that I would accumulate these songs in a set of music that I would then be able to perform the whole thing or make a video. This is a test. The problem is that I would get to a certain point in editing this video and I would just stop. I would just look at the video and say, this is stupid. This is really, really stupid. And then I would start over or not and just leave it. So in having this struggle with this video, I would try to figure out what it was that was going on. Every time I felt good about it and then I feel bad about it, what is that? Like, what is causing that? It's something that I want to do, that I love doing, and yet there's something stopping me from doing it. So I have done lots of research on procrastination. I've read some of the books on how to change your habits and on productivity. I've tried some of the habit formation hacks, like making things that you want to do more often more easily accessible, and making the things that you don't want to do less accessible. I've tried visualization and meditation exercises. I've scoured YouTube for every motivational and inspirational video.
One title that would work would be Do What You Can't.
You know, 2 years later, I just hit 450,000 subscribers.
But then one day I found this one blog post that kind of reframed the problem for me. It was called Why Productive Procrastination Can Be Beneficial. It spoke about how not doing the thing that you're trying to do could perhaps not be a complete waste if the thing that you're doing instead is also helping you achieve some kind of goals. One thing I am 100% resolute on is my commitment to the creative and musical journey. And for me, that means improving my musicianship, songwriting and producing, doing performances. But it also means sharing my process and how I got to this part of my journey with those who are also trying to do the same thing, to try and help others avoid some of the pitfalls that I have fallen into. That's really what the YouTube channel is about. If I were only interested in making YouTube videos and nothing else, I think it would be more of an open and shut case. But for me, it gets a little bit complicated. At least in my mind. So I did not make a video in these 2 months, but I was very busy. What was I doing? Well, let's follow the breadcrumbs and see how far this rabbit hole goes. So I've been trying to figure out why it was so hard for me just to turn the camera on and start talking. What's so hard about that? And I thought, well, maybe the problem is it's too much setup. Like, by the time I get the camera and the lights and all that stuff set up, I'm like in a technical frame and I'm not in like a creative talking kind of frame. I thought maybe if I could change camera setups more quickly, that I would be able to just kind of like fall into performance. So I decided to look into these quick release systems. Now the problem with that is there are many different kinds of quick release systems. So which one would be the best for my setup? Well, this would require some research. I mean, what were the pros and cons of each? What were different people using? What were photographers using? What were video people using? What were some of the drawbacks? What were some of the benefits? I had to get to the bottom of all of this. I finally landed on my decision. It was going to be the Manfrotto RC2 with a hybrid RC2 Arca Swiss plate for the camera so that it could go on either mount. So now I can move my camera anywhere in the apartment. Problem solved. I had a good week in January. I put out a video where I reharmonized Old Lang Syne. I thought, this is great. I'm on a roll. If only I could come up with harmony ideas more quickly and on the spot. And I thought, well, I know Jacob Collier uses this thing called...
This is my Harmonizer.
And it lets you sing one note and play... and you hear the harmony right away. I'm like, this would be great. This would be such a great optimization for writing vocal parts. Plus, I could do like mad amounts of Instagram videos where I do all these crazy harmonies. This would be amazing. But which harmonizer? This would require some research. So there are many harmonizers. All the companies make a harmonizer. But which one did Jacob Collier use?
It's all very mysterious in the box.
Oh, it was some kind of homemade one. What? And then Imogen Heap. There's that song. Like, how do you do that song? What harmonizer made that song? Okay, that was...
Digitech workstation.
I'm like, all right, back up. All right, there is one company that is like the harmonizer company, that's TC Electronic. I think they're the one. So I checked out their line. They have this line, it's inexpensive. They have these little boxes, but they have like 4 different versions of the same thing. What were they?
They actually function very differently from one another.
What were the pros and cons? Was I going to use a guitar? Was I going to use a keyboard? I would have to watch lots and lots of demos.
All my friends are out drinking.
Finally, I came to the conclusion of the TC Helicon V... What did I get?
Perform VE.
VE. This would let me play the parts on a keyboard and sing, and it would just... And I ordered it, and I got it. It was amazing. The thing that I really want to be able to do quickly is to have a guitar idea and just play it without having to like do it a bunch of times and do a bunch of editing. I've been practicing the same exercises and the same songs really my whole life. And it was time to change that up. So we'll do some research. A lot of kids who play guitar grew up listening to and learning those licks. I grew up listening to and
Love will keep us together.
And I eventually graduated to
Sing us a song, you're the piano man.
And
Rocket man.
so I never really had my guitar phase. So I thought, all right, I'm gonna do it now. So thanks to YouTubers like Paul Davids and Marty Schwartz, I got a couple of guitar solos under my belt. I had my calluses back. I was practicing every day. I can do it. That brings us here. The blog post on productive procrastination concludes by advising you break up your tasks into small enough tasks so that if there's one thing that you feel like you're procrastinating on, you could switch to something that still moves you towards your goal. Now, when I think past my last 2.5 months, the question is, did I do this or was I really procrastinating? And when it comes down to it, there really is no reason why I could not have made a video every week and also have done the research and learning that I've done. I was trying to gain skills as quickly as possible so that I could become more like Jacob Collier or more like Rick Beato or more like Paul Davids. But the fact is that I was waiting for my process to be perfect before sharing it. But that's not really my process. My process is much messier than that, which led to all of these rabbit holes, which led to this video. So hopefully this starts a new chapter where I may be less afraid to share where I am right now, because it may not be as good as the best people on YouTube. That's ridiculous. So with that, I will say, I'll see you next week. I'll see you next week. I'll see you next week. I'll see you next week.